Today we're going to be comparing the Roborock F25 RT versus the Tineco One S5. These are both wet dry mop vacs, and we're going to make sure that our floor is completely clean by the end of this video. A huge thank you to Roborock for sponsoring today's video. Let's get started. Starting off with the Roborock F25, here we have the charging station, and then it has an air dryer that can heat up to 194 degrees to have this clean very quickly under 30 minutes. And then it comes with floor cleaning solution as well as a cleaning brush, which is great to have. Now on the robot itself, here we have the dirty water tank. This is 720 milliliters, so there's going to be plenty of dirty water that you can put in there, and this is very simple to clean. The brush is handy to clean all that out, and then here at the top you do have a filter that is able to clean. Oh, and you got to go in there and clean that out too. Looks like I forgot to do that on our last cleaning. Then that just snaps back into place like so. And then down here we have the clean water tank, and this is actually 870 milliliters that you can put into here. So we have the water that we can just fill up. And the cool thing about this is the weight of the water actually helps to be able to easily control this and have a higher pressure down on the ground for better cleaning. And it weighs 8.8 pounds, easy to move it around. And on the top you have your mode button, your power on and off, as well as your cleaning. And the light here will flash when it is a low battery. Over here on the Tineco One S5, it does come with cleaning solution as well. It comes with a cleaning brush and an extra roller brush, which is good, as well as another filter. So you can have that dry while you are using one. The robot itself comes on the charger pad. It does just charge and it does all the cleaning right within here on its own. On the back you have the water tank, which is 800 milliliters. Now it does deplete pretty quick, but we found that it did put quite a lot of water out on the ground. And then up here you have the option to pull this off and clean out the brush. And here we have the dirty water bin of 720 milliliters. Looks like we didn't clean that out yet, but you can fit quite a bit in there. And then here we have the filter on top. Wash out whenever you need to. This weighs 9.5 pounds. At the top you have the cleaning button as well as your different modes and your power button. And here we have the iLume display that will tell you battery life, your mode, suction power, as well as dirt sensing. I also want to mention that both of these are wet dry mop vacs. That means they are not for carpet, they are for hardwood and vinyl floor. Now first up we're going to do a test to see how well we can clean under things. So we have stools here, we have other chairs, and sometimes when I've used these in the past with other models, when I would get under, it would lower the power and then it just wasn't able to tilt all the way down to get under. So let's start this with the Roborock. Okay, starting off with the F25. Cleaning under, but I want to get all the way down. And no problem. And it didn't reduce the power at all. So this is only 4.92 inches tall when you're going under. That works great. All right, here with the Tineco, clean under, goes between, that's great. And if we want to go lower, ooh, that's all we can do. We cannot get any lower than that to go under. It just won't allow me to. So the Roborock definitely won this round. So nice to see that it can go all the way 180 degrees flat, get all the way under there. And this is going to work not only under stools, but tables, chairs, even a couch that was a little off the ground, you could get all the way under there. Next up, let's talk about the rollers on each of these devices. So they both claim to be streak-free, but the Roborock says that it is tangle-free. On here, it has some jaw scrapers that are able to catch all the different debris that you might pick up, like hair and other things like that, so that there's going to be no residue left on the roller pad. And with the Tineco, it has something that presses against it to scrape everything off. This room has a lot of hair. It might have been a while since we've cleaned. Don't judge us, but there is a lot of hair on the floor, so we're going to clean with both of these, clean the entire room, see what's left over. I forgot to fill up the water tank there. Let's keep going. Now here on the Tineco, it is showing me that the room is pretty dirty, where I'm not seeing that on the F25. All done. Let's take a closer look. Taking a look here at the roller, before we check out anything else. So we can just simply pull this and pop it off like so. And there we can see that there is no hair or anything caught on this. And then if we go inside, you can see it does have a little bit here that's been built up from the scraper, but there you can see really far in there. So those jaw scrapers are what are scraping all that gunk off. So you may need to come in here and clean that every once in a while, but that's doing a great job. Here you can see some of the hair was in there, and if we look in the dirty bin, there we can see some hair was on its way up into the dirty bin, and there is some in there as well. So as long as there's nothing stuck on the brush, I'm pretty happy with how that turns out. And I can just snap on the roller brush right here on the side. All right, taking a look at the One S5 here, got some hair on top there. If we want to pull this off, just slides right off, and no hair on here, but there is quite a bit here at the top and the bottom that still needs to be cleaned off. Let's pull open the bin here. There we see a little bit of hair in there. And there it has a ton of hair that we need to get out of there. It didn't quite all get into the bin. Either way less hair on the floor. Now let's go ahead and do a sound test between cleaning as well as cleaning the pads on the base station. Here's the sound with the F25 RT on. So max mode was sitting at about 83. Eco mode was about 79. And there the cleaning is complete. So we saw about around 82, highs of 85 with the cleaning. Now while it is cleaning, one cool thing it's doing is it's turning the brush both ways so that it's not matting down the brush too much in one direction so that you have a longer lasting brush. And there you can see all the nice dirty water. And here the drying is about 64. It goes up of course when I talk, but pretty quiet. And here with the One S5, let's go ahead and turn it on to auto mode. So with auto mode, we were about 82, and with the max mode going up to 83. And then here, as we were cleaning, and there it was about 80, so not terrible on the cleaning. If you look at the bar graph there, it might have been a little bit higher on the Roborock, and about the same time in cleaning. And with the Tineco, there is no drying of the mop pad, so it could potentially get a little bit moldy there if you're not keeping it in a well-aired environment. And then they are giving you that extra pad to swap out every 6 months or so. After cleaning one room, let's take a look at the water bin. So here we have quite a bit more on the Roborock F25 RT, and then here on the One S. Now I didn't start this the same time. I forgot I hadn't filled it back up, but there is a little bit there. We did find in our testing that the Tineco ran out of water way fast, so you might need to fill it up a little bit more often here, and there is a ton more water that it used up in its cleaning. Now let's talk cleaning power. So here I've put out some applesauce as well as some watermelon juice to dry for the last few hours, so we're going to see how these clean. Now with the F25 RT, it has 450 rotations per minute on the brush. It also has 20 newtons of pressure going down, so it's able to clean better, and it has a better lower sense of gravity because the water tank is lower here to the ground. And then it also has 20,000 Pascal of suction power to get all the stuff off the floor. Over here with the Tineco One S5, I don't know its newtons that it's pressing down, but it only has 10,000 Pascal of suction power, but it does have the 450 rotations per minute on the brush. So it's now time to see how well they pick these up. All right, one pass, still got a little bit more on both sides. Still seeing some more. Just a little bit left on both of them.
So there, of course, dry food is going to be the worst to pick up, but there, about the same time, they were able to clean that completely off the floor. And here inside the F25, as it is cleaning, it has 32 jets of water that's spraying the brush to keep it continually clean as it is cleaning the floor. And now it's time for the watermelon spill. And after just a few passes, it did a great job in picking up all of that watermelon. I'm not feeling any residue left over. I, of course, have more to clean, but both those were able to get it fully clean. Now, after letting these dry, right now I'm noticing there's actually a lot of streaks from the Tineco on the left side here, where I'm not seeing that from the Roborock on the right. And I need to fill up the One S5 water tank for the second time, where I still have some left over on the F25 RT. Now, one other thing you'll notice is that here, as I am turning both of these, the F25 RT is able to turn much better. It has a 70-degree turning radius and is able to maneuver really quickly over the floor. One of the worst places to have the spill in the home is right along the edge here. Well, the good news is these have edge-to-edge cleaning, where the F25 RT can get within 1 millimeter of the edge. So we're gonna spill some milk here and see how well they do. And one pass, and it did an excellent job getting right up next to the edge. Now, both of these did perform very well. On the One S5, it says it has a 4 millimeter edge, so it's not able to get quite as close. And here you can see on the other side, you have this gap where it's only one-sided on the edge cleaning, where over on the F25 RT, it's able to do that much better on both sides. Now, the last test is to check battery life. They both are rated for 35 minutes, but the F25 RT is rated for a little bit more square footage, 2,925, where this is 2,500 square feet. So we've been using these a little bit. I'm just gonna keep mopping the floor with both of them until the battery runs out. But I'm assuming they're both gonna get full of water, or the tanks are gonna run out first. So I am gonna fill those up real quick before I begin the test.
And for the battery test, the Roborock F25 RT was the first one to run out of battery, and it did give me a few warnings before it turned off, and then bringing it back, I had to wait till it charged before I could run the cycle. And with the Tineco One S5 series, it did still have about 40 battery life at the same time. I thought they were at the same charge level, wasn't really sure. On the Roborock, it just shows a little light if it's okay battery, and then it starts flashing when it's a low battery. So that's the only indicator you get. On the Tineco, it does have the number on top. So overall, all of the testing, I think this was a pretty fair comparison between both of these robots and seeing how they compared. Cleaning wise, they both were able to clean. Of course, the best parts were the Roborock F25 RT being able to go all the way under things. That's a huge benefit, being able to have that 180-degree tilt to be able to go under. There's even a wheel here on the back, so you can tilt it down and still have it roll easily forward and back. And then the next thing was the water tank capacity. So with the clean water tank, this emptied so fast, I had to keep continually filling it up, where here this lasted much longer, and then I didn't have to empty the dirty bin as often as well, because this one kept getting full because it was using too much water, and there's no way to adjust that. So that was a problem here. And then with the Tineco, it doesn't have a dryer, and it's not really cleaning it on the pad. There's nothing that's doing to help it. There's no heating or anything. So I am worried a little bit about it building up mildew and kind of smelling on the pad itself. And then on the F25 RT, it has that heating of the cleaner at 194 degrees Fahrenheit to be able to sanitize the pad, and then it does the air drying at 194 degrees. So I think that's awesome to keep the pad nice and clean and dry. It's going to last much longer, and it's just gonna be clean and not start to stink over here. Now with both of these, the biggest thing is once you do the cleaning, you definitely need to clean out the tank every single time or it gets stinky. And then I'd recommend doing a further deep clean every few weeks of the pad and brush and everything, going there, really scraping it out, using the scrubber it came with and all of that to make sure they do last a really long time. So between both of these, my pick is going to be the Roborock F25 RT with all those extra features that it provides. Now the great news is during Prime Day, this is going to be around $200. So it's really discounted, and it's such a great device to have in your home to keep your floors clean. So I'll leave a link directly to that down in the description below. And if you have any other further questions, let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.